the way, the truth, and the life. I am Jesus. I'm not here to condemn you. I came to bring you back to life. Rely on me. I will forgive you and give you eternal life. I love you. And I did all of this to have a relationship with you. Will you follow me?
You were looking at a screenshot of what is believed to be a meteor that had exploded in the skies over Scotland. There was reports coming in that there was this large fireball witnessed in the skies. Now, people from all over the area were saying that something came in. They weren't sure what it was. It happened so quick. It seemed to explode in the atmosphere, and seeming that there was no storm clouds, no type of system whatsoever, no lightning associated with anything in this area. He said more than likely it was a meteorite coming through that exploded in the atmosphere.
The Russian Ceasefire Coordination Center continues to receive information from the Syrian General Staff and Kurdish forces who support the cessation of hostilities about the artillery shelling which is continuing to come from Turkish territory. We regard these Turkish actions as open provocations and think they are aimed at a breakdown of the ceasefire and reconciliation process in the Syrian Arab Republic.
The head of the Russian Ceasefire Coordination Center in Syria also said that both government forces and the opposition are living up to the terms of the ceasefire. Sergei Korolenko noted that Russian military personnel are observing the implementation of the truce throughout Syrian territory. Under Russian
have dispersed a Kurdish solidarity rally in the southeast of the country using tear gas and water cannons. People in the Kurdish city of Diyarbakir had turned out to protest against an ongoing curfew in the district of Sur. It's been under military siege for 3 months now as part of the government's campaign against Kurdish militants that began last summer.
We have breaking news now that a pipe bomb has exploded inside of a car in NYC. They're saying that the victim driving was targeted and did sustain injuries. They're saying a female passenger was in the car but was unharmed. But they say that this was an explosive device that had a detonator in this vehicle that was set off, and they were attempting to take this person's life. Now, the FBI, NYPD, everybody else on the scene said they searched the vehicle and they found a second explosive device with a detonator in the car that I guess.
Ну, не получилось, нету денег.
Ну, хотела туда уехать.
Ну, хотела, да.
Присоединиться к ИГИЛ?
Не знаю, я там жить хотела. Или...
Ну, где ты хотела там жить? С какой стороны?
Ну, какой стороны? Жить хотела я.
А ребенок-то здесь при чем?
Отомстила.
Кому?
Кто кровь поливал?
Necessary defense measures, saying the islands is an integral part of Chinese territory. Nasha Islands is also claimed by Vietnam and Taiwan.
discontented people from several militant-held towns in Daraa countryside have decided to turn themselves in to authorities. They have come to express loyalty to the Syrian government after putting down arms. They said they are looking forward to the end of conflict in their home.
Settler. Israeli forces have intensified violent crackdown against Palestinians since the beginning of October, when Palestinians launched a new uprising over the repeated sacrilege of the Muslims' holy sites in Jerusalem, Al-Quds. The violence has so far left at least 191 Palestinians dead, while 33 Israelis have been killed in retaliatory attacks.
Russia is calling for the closure of the Syria's border with Turkey to cut off outside supplies to curb terrorists.
A very special task is to cut off terrorist supply from the outside. For this purpose, it is important to close the Syrian-Turkish border, since across this border, those gangs receive arms, including with humanitarian convoys and journalists.
Lavrov told the UN Human Rights Council in Geneva that there is no place for terrorists and extremists in ceasefire agreements or the political process. Lavrov insisted that a landslide defeat of terrorists is a necessary precondition for securing the rights of the people in Syria and the rest of the region. He added that systemic and confirmed violators of the ceasefire in Syria will be excluded from the truce regime.
The charges against 3 Sheriff Department deputies for the role in what became known as the Fight Club, or the Jailhouse Fight Club. The evidence in this case indicates that deputy knew forced inmates to fight against each other, and did so with threats, including that they would be handcuffed, beaten, maced, or have certain privilege taken away from them if they did not agree to fight each other.
Another train derailment. This time it has caused local residents to be evacuated from their homes after this train that was carrying hazardous materials has derailed in western New York. Now they're saying that an unspecified amount of ethanol has leaked, and that more than a dozen cars that were eastbound on this Norfolk Southern train from Ohio derailed Tuesday night near the town of Ripley.
Disputed South China Sea. Beijing urged Washington not to, quote, sensationalize the South China Sea dispute. This after U.S. Defense Secretary Ash Carter warned China against their military actions in the region, including the placement of surface-to-air missiles on a disputed island. Carter made the comment despite the fact that the U.S. has been expanding its military presence in the South China Sea.
It's a wow moment for robot fans. An impressive new version of the Atlas robot is unveiled. What steals the limelight? Robot abuse.
But it's interesting that America is building robots that people can bully. In 100 years, that scene is going to be in the robot version of Roots. You understand this?
And it's not just physical, but mental torture. My hockey stick, the first time highly regarded robot design company Boston Dynamics has mistreated one of its creations.
Where you are, it's a robot!
Actually, there's a perfectly good reason for this robot abuse. When most robots fall down, they can't get back up. They often have to be carried off for repair. When the new Atlas was forced to faceplant, watch it get back on its feet. Though it stumbles through the just brutal bullies, lacking any sense of humor. This was last year's Christmas greeting from Boston Dynamics, even if their robots aren't laughing all the way. Ginny, CNN, New York.
In Brazil, the number of fatalities blamed on the outbreak of the Zika virus is on the rise. Brazil's health ministry has confirmed 641 cases of microcephaly and 139 babies with similar conditions who have died since October. This is 10%.
You guys may remember this massive sinkhole that had opened up on a beach in Australia. It had swallowed up cars, a caravan, complete campsites in this area when it happened. And as you can see, the water's pretty dark there because it's very deep here. The channel that runs across this area is very deep, and it's a drop-off in this area. But we've had another one. Another one open up, as you can see right here. Someone came in on like a small boat and had noticed this and put the alert out and said, hey, there's just chunks falling off this as the waves come in.
In some cases, mentally ill people. Protesters have been calling for transparency and holding of those responsible to account. The LAPD report provides rare transparency on the shooting victims.
UN Refugee Agency has raised the alarm over the rapid build-up of migrants on the Greek-Macedonian border. The bottleneck began after Macedonia imposed tight controls over a week ago and threatened to shut the crossing altogether. Port town of Calais, another refugee flashpoint is up in flames, quite literally. Some asylum seekers have set their tents on fire in protest at authorities' moves to demolish the makeshift camp.
Coming days and weeks, but everything to my right is still fair game. The government hasn't ordered the evacuation of this part of the jungle yet.
Moving on now, a top U.S. military official says that Russia is an existential threat to Washington and its European allies. Commander of U.S. troops in Europe, Philip Breedlove, accused Russia of choosing to be an adversary, seeking to exert influence over its neighboring states. The head of the U.S. European command further said American efforts to cultivate